I'm Tim Bradner. Welcome to Capitol Views. We're here today with Representative Liz Vasquez, new legislator from Anchorage. Welcome, Liz, to our program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Liz, you're from Anchorage, and you represent Midtown Anchorage?
West Anchorage.
West Anchorage. Maybe you could describe the district.
Yeah. It's District 22. It's Sand Lake, Jewel Lake, Kincaid, northern part of Campbell Lake. So
That part of the...
and Diamond.
And Diamond.
Yeah.
Liz, tell us about yourself.
Well, I've lived in Alaska 31 years, going on to 32 years. I'm an attorney. I started my legal career in Washington, D.C. I worked for the United States Control of the Currency. I did banking and securities and in the General Counsel's office. And then I went on to the General Counsel's office, Main Treasury Department, right next to the White House. And did administrative law, EEO, and policy, international trade. And then I spent a summer internship on the other side of the White House, Office of Management and Budget, and we did administrative law, Freedom of Information Act, Federal Advisory Committee Act. So then I met my husband, and we moved to Alaska. I was in private practice for a while, and then I went on to the Attorney General, State of Alaska Attorney General's office, became a prosecutor, specialized in public assistance fraud, did that for a while, then did commercial litigation for 4 or 5 years, did child support for a year and a half, went back to prosecution work, then I went on to the Department of Health and Social Services, within the state of Alaska, did program integrity, quality assurance, and went on to supervise the Office of Hearings and Appeals within the Health and Social Services.
Well, that's quite a background. You have your experience in Washington too. That's pretty important.
Yeah.
To have the perspective.
Yeah. So I know how the federal government works and the state government works, and then I've been involved with local government. I was on the city municipality of Anchorage Budget Advisory Commission for a while, and then I went to the Anchorage Budget Advisory Commission. So I've been serving on that commission for the last several years, and then I was elected twice to the board of directors of Chugach Electric, served 6 years, and was chair for a while.
And one of your new assignments here in Juneau is co-chair of the Energy Committee, that's a good background for that.
Yes, it is. It is. I'm really pleased to have the confidence of my colleagues and be elected co-chair of that committee.
And then also you're as the vice chair of the HES committee?
Yes, vice chair. I have well, I have a lot of experience in both areas, so yeah, vice chair of HES. For those in the audience may not know, that's Health and Social Services Committee.
That's right. That's right. It's good to always remind ourselves we're so used to speaking in acronyms down here.
Yes.
But Liz, tell us a little bit more about what you did when you were working in the department. You were prosecuting.
My specialty was public assistance fraud, but I also worked on the first Medicaid administrative sanction case.
What is that?
Well, you know, there's the criminal process, but there's also an administrative process. If you have a Medicaid provider that may be abusive in their billing practices, you can undertake an administrative process and sanction them and have them pay a fine and may be excluded from being a provider within a program. So I did the first Medicaid provider sanction case in the history of the state. So
this was a provider that committed fraud under Medicaid.
Oh, well, we didn't go via the criminal avenue. It was, we did it through an administrative process, and so we had other professionals that eventually did testify against this particular provider.
I see.
And so we went to hearings several weeks, and he was sanctioned and left the program, and went on and moved out of state. But there's a whole administrative process that you can utilize.
So you'll be very involved in the whole issues of Medicaid. I mean, Medicaid is such an important part of our state budget.
It is.
It's a huge part.
Almost $1 billion in just state money, but when you couple that with federal money, it's $1.7 billion. So that's the biggest drivers, by the way, in our state budget. And I volunteered to be on the Health and Social Services Committee because of my background. I thought it would be very helpful.
Yeah, I would think that anytime budgets like that are so big, there's going to be room for administrative issues, possible fraud, I suppose.
Well, but also, waste and inefficiencies.
Yeah.
And I have a passion for pursuing waste and inefficiencies. This is the right time to really be looking at these. It's always a good time, but with the fiscal crisis that we face, I think the legislature and those in the administration are going to be more open-minded about pursuing avenues and reducing the waste and inefficiencies.
Well, I think, as much as we worry about the budget shortfall, it's also an opportunity for us to really think about new ideas.
Absolutely.
Be willing to have conversations that were more difficult before.
Absolutely, and think out of the box, and we're going to have to cut the budget. And I think there's a consensus that we need to do that, but we need to do it in a very intelligent, careful, thoughtful way so we minimize the damage to those individuals in the community that need the services.
Yeah,
and that's more difficult. That is very difficult to do.
Yeah, well, the governor's given us some targets
Yes.
that we have to meet.
5%.
Even that's difficult.
It is. It is.
Particularly in health and social services where you're dealing with people whose lives are affected.
Yes, yeah. But again, I prefer to look at waste and inefficiencies, and there are things that are not working.
Well, but you have an insider's view. That's good.
Yes,
We need
yes,
that.
yes. And I'm glad to me, this is my contribution to the legislature. Most legislators don't necessarily rush to be on the Health and Social Services Committee.
Well,
it's hard work. It's a big department, very complex programs, and so we just need to dig in and do our best.
Well, Liz, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Representative Liz Vasquez from Anchorage, and I'm Tim Bradner with Capitol Hughes. Thank you.